September 12, 1944. Deep within the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute in Berlin, Dr. Heinrich Volkmann stared at intercepted American intelligence reports that would shatter every assumption German atomic scientists had held about their enemy's capabilities. What they discovered that morning would reveal that while Germany's finest minds had been chasing theoretical possibilities, America had already built the weapon that would end the war. The document trembled in Dr. Heinrich Volkmann's hands as he read the decoded American transmission for the third time. September 12, 1944, 0630 hours, Kaiser Wilhelm Institute for Physics, Berlin. The intercepted communication from Los Alamos had just confirmed Germany's worst nightmare. The Americans weren't just theorizing about atomic weapons. They were months away from deployment. Volkmann, Germany's leading nuclear physicist and director of the WWII program, had spent 3 years believing that German science led the world in atomic research. After all, it was German scientists who had first split the uranium atom in 1938. Otto Hahn and Fritz Strassmann had unlocked the secret of nuclear fission right here in Berlin, 6 years before this moment of reckoning. The intercepted intelligence report, obtained through Operation Bernard's sophisticated network of intercepted Allied communications, painted a picture that contradicted everything the German scientific community believed about American capabilities. While German researchers had been struggling with fundamental theoretical problems and resource shortages, the Americans had constructed an entire secret city in the New Mexican desert. Professor Werner Heisenberg, Germany's most celebrated theoretical physicist, had repeatedly assured Reich leadership that atomic weapons remained a distant possibility, perhaps decades away from practical development. His calculations, presented to Nazi officials just 6 months earlier, had concluded that any atomic bomb would require uranium enrichment facilities the size of entire cities, making such weapons economically and logistically impossible during wartime. The intercepted American documents revealed the stunning reality. The United States had indeed built uranium enrichment facilities the size of cities. Oak Ridge, Tennessee, employed over 75,000 workers in a secret installation larger than many German industrial centers. Hanford, Washington, covered 586 square miles and operated plutonium production reactors that German scientists had only theorized about. Dr. Klaus Riedel, Volkmann's deputy and former student of Max Planck, analyzed the technical specifications contained in the intelligence reports. The Americans had solved critical separation problems that had stymied German research for years. Their gaseous diffusion plants could process uranium at scales that made German experimental efforts appear primitive by comparison. The psychological impact on the German scientific team was immediate and devastating. These men had considered themselves the intellectual heirs of Einstein, Planck, and Heisenberg, the nation that had given birth to quantum mechanics and modern physics. The realization that American industrial capacity had transformed theoretical knowledge into practical weapons represented more than a technical defeat. As Volkmann read deeper into the intercepted materials, one detail crystallized the magnitude of German miscalculation. The Americans had not one, but multiple pathways to atomic weapons. While German scientists debated theoretical approaches, America had simultaneously pursued uranium enrichment and plutonium production, hedging their bets with massive resource commitments that dwarfed Germany's entire war economy.
The German atomic program had begun with every conceivable advantage. When Otto Hahn and Fritz Strassmann achieved nuclear fission in December 1938, Germany possessed the world's most advanced nuclear physics community. The discovery had occurred in Berlin laboratories that had produced more Nobel Prize winners than any other scientific institution on Earth. Professor Abraham Esau, appointed as Reich Marshal for Nuclear Physics in 1939, had initially commanded resources that seemed limitless. The Reich Research Council allocated substantial funding, commandeered uranium supplies from occupied Czechoslovakia, and assigned Germany's brightest scientific minds to unlock atomic energy's military potential. By 1940, the Heereswaffenkram, the German Army's weapons research division, had classified all nuclear research as kriegswichtig, militarily decisive. Yet from the program's inception, fundamental miscalculations had doomed German atomic research to failure. The first critical error emerged from bureaucratic competition between rival Nazi organizations. The Reich Research Council, the SS Ahnenerbe, the Luftwaffe Technical Office, and the Navy's Research Division all established separate atomic programs, fragmenting resources and duplicating efforts. Dr. Kurt Deibner, physicist and SS Oberfuhrer, competed directly with Heisenberg's Kaiser Wilhelm Institute team. Their rivalry prevented crucial information sharing and split already limited uranium supplies between competing research tracks. While American scientists at Los Alamos collaborated under unified military direction, German researchers hoarded discoveries to protect bureaucratic territory. The second devastating miscalculation involved resource allocation. German leadership, convinced that the war would end quickly through conventional means, refused to commit to long-term research projects. Reich Minister Fritz Todt informed atomic researchers in 1940 that any weapons development requiring more than 2 years would receive minimal support. This decision effectively eliminated Germany's chance of developing atomic weapons during the war. Professor Paul Hartek at the University of Hamburg had proposed gaseous diffusion techniques for uranium enrichment in 1940, the same method Americans would later use successfully at Oak Ridge. His proposals were rejected as too resource-intensive and theoretically uncertain. The Reich Ministry of Education allocated Hartek's project funding equivalent to what Americans spent on Los Alamos cafeteria operations in a single month. German scientists faced additional challenges that their American counterparts never encountered. Allied bombing campaigns systematically targeted German research facilities. The Kaiser Wilhelm Institute suffered 3 direct hits in 1943, destroying 2 years of experimental data and scattering research teams across rural locations. Equipment shortages became chronic as war production prioritized conventional weapons over speculative research. Perhaps most critically, Germany had expelled or murdered many of its most brilliant physicists. Einstein, Szilard, Fermi, and dozens of other scientific refugees now worked for America's Manhattan Project. The brain drain that began in 1933 had transferred Germany's atomic advantage directly to its enemies, though German leadership remained oblivious to this transfer's significance. By 1942, German atomic research had stagnated around theoretical reactor designs that showed promise for power generation, but offered no clear pathway to weapons. Heisenberg's team achieved nuclear chain reactions in small experimental piles, but scaling these experiments to weapons-grade material production required industrial commitments that exceeded Germany's available resources. The intelligence reports that Volkmann studied revealed how thoroughly American industrial capacity had overwhelmed German scientific advantages. While German researchers operated with handfuls of graduate students and improvised equipment, Los Alamos employed thousands of physicists, chemists, and engineers working in purpose-built facilities with unlimited budgets. Dr. Walter Gerlach, who had replaced Esau as atomic program director in 1944, had recently submitted reports estimating that Germany might achieve a functional atomic reactor by 1947, assuming continued resource allocation and no further bombing disruptions. The intercepted American documents revealed that by 1944, the United States had already constructed multiple production reactors and was manufacturing weapons-grade plutonium at industrial scales.
The breakthrough that would doom German atomic ambitions had begun 3 years earlier in a basement laboratory at Columbia University. Dr. Enrico Fermi, the Italian physicist who had fled Mussolini's racial laws, achieved the world's first controlled nuclear chain reaction on December 2, 1942. What German scientists didn't realize was that this moment marked America's transition from theoretical research to industrial-scale weapons production. The intelligence reports revealed the staggering scope of American innovation. General Leslie Groves, appointed to lead the Manhattan Project in September 1942, had transformed atomic research from academic pursuit into the largest scientific industrial undertaking in human history. Within 18 months, the United States had constructed 3 massive secret facilities that dwarfed Germany's entire scientific infrastructure. At Oak Ridge, Tennessee, American engineers had solved uranium enrichment through multiple parallel approaches. The K-25 gaseous diffusion plant, completed in early 1944, covered 44 acres under a single roof and consumed more electricity than many American cities. The calutrons at Y-12 used electromagnetic separation techniques that German scientists had dismissed as impractical. Most shocking to German researchers was the scale. Oak Ridge employed more physicists than existed in all of occupied Europe. Dr. Robert Oppenheimer's leadership at Los Alamos represented everything German atomic research lacked. While German scientists competed in bureaucratic rivalries, Oppenheimer had unified America's brightest minds under military discipline and unlimited resources. The intercepted documents described a scientific city where theoretical physicists worked alongside explosive experts, metallurgists collaborated with electronics specialists, and pure research transformed into engineering solutions within weeks. The American approach to plutonium production revealed industrial thinking that German scientists had never imagined. At Hanford, Washington, DuPont Corporation had constructed production reactors using techniques borrowed from chemical manufacturing. While German researchers debated reactor theory, Americans had built machines that produced weapons-grade plutonium by the kilogram. Professor Niels Bohr's defection to America in 1943 had provided the Manhattan Project with crucial theoretical insights that accelerated weapons design. Bohr, who had mentored an entire generation of European physicists, now advised American bomb designers on critical mass calculations and assembly mechanisms that remained mysteries to German researchers. The intelligence revealed American innovations that challenged fundamental German assumptions about atomic weapons. Critical mass requirements, previously estimated by German scientists at several tons of uranium, had been reduced to manageable quantities through sophisticated implosion techniques. The Americans had solved weapons assembly problems using conventional explosive expertise that Germany's fragmented research programs couldn't access. Most devastating was the discovery that America pursued multiple bomb designs simultaneously. While German scientists debated whether uranium or plutonium offered better prospects, the Americans had developed both pathways to operational weapons. The Little Boy, uranium design, and Fat Man, plutonium implosion bomb, represented parallel innovations that guaranteed American success regardless of technical challenges. The intelligence communications revealed testing schedules that confirmed German fears. Trinity, the code name for America's first atomic test, was planned for July 1945 in the New Mexican desert. After 3 years of theoretical discussions, German scientists realized their enemies would demonstrate functional atomic weapons within months. Dr. Volkmann understood that German atomic research had fundamentally misunderstood the challenge. While German scientists approached atomic weapons as theoretical physics problems requiring elegant solutions, Americans had treated bomb development as an engineering challenge requiring industrial solutions. This philosophical difference had determined the outcome before German researchers recognized the competition had begun. July 16, 1945, 05:29 hours. The Trinity test in the Alamogordo Desert confirmed every German scientist's worst fears. The intercepted American communications, decoded by German intelligence 3 days later, described a fireball that rose 38,000 feet into the New Mexican sky and created a crater 1,200 feet wide. The theoretical had become devastatingly real. Dr. Volkmann received the Trinity report while German atomic researchers gathered for their final wartime conference at Stadt Ilm. The timing was cruelly ironic. As German physicists debated whether atomic weapons remained theoretically possible, American scientists had just proven their practicality with a blast equivalent to 21,000 tons of TNT. The German intelligence network, despite its efficiency in intercepting Allied communications, had failed to grasp the Manhattan Project's true scope until operational testing revealed American capabilities. Colonel Erwin Respondek, Germany's chief scientific intelligence officer, had dismissed earlier reports about Oak Ridge and Hanford as Allied disinformation designed to waste German resources on impossible projects. Professor Max von Laue, Nobel laureate and Volkmann's senior advisor, analyzed the Trinity test data with growing horror. The Americans had achieved nuclear fission efficiency that German calculations deemed impossible. Critical mass requirements that German theory predicted would require tons of uranium had been reduced to manageable quantities through implosion techniques that German researchers had never considered. The intelligence reports revealed operational details that shattered German assumptions about atomic weapons deployment. The Fat Man plutonium bomb weighed 10,800 pounds and measured 10 feet 8 inches in length, dimensions that made aerial delivery feasible using existing bomber aircraft. German scientists had calculated that any functional atomic weapon would require specialized delivery systems that wouldn't exist for decades. Dr. Carl Friedrich von Weizsäcker, Heisenberg's protege and theoretical specialist, attempted to reverse engineer American success from the intercepted technical specifications. His calculations revealed the staggering scale of American uranium enrichment. The gaseous diffusion plants at Oak Ridge had processed uranium at volumes that exceeded Germany's total wartime uranium stockpile by factors of hundreds. The American bomb assembly mechanisms demonstrated engineering sophistication that German research had never approached. The implosion lenses used in the plutonium device required precision explosive manufacturing that integrated conventional weapons expertise with nuclear physics. German atomic research, isolated within academic institutions, lacked access to explosive specialists who might have solved these practical challenges. August 6, 1945, Hiroshima. The Enola Gay dropped Little Boy at 08:15 hours local time, destroying 5 square miles of the Japanese city and killing approximately 80,000 people instantly. German monitoring stations detected the blast's seismic signature within hours, confirming that American atomic weapons had transitioned from successful tests to operational deployment. The Hiroshima bombing revealed American strategic thinking that German planners had completely misunderstood. While German military doctrine emphasized precision targeting of specific installations, the Americans had designed atomic weapons for area destruction that would eliminate entire cities. The psychological impact on civilian populations represented warfare concepts that traditional German military thinking hadn't anticipated. August 9, 1945, Nagasaki. Fat Man detonated at 11:02 hours local time, proving that America possessed multiple atomic weapons and could conduct sustained atomic warfare. The 3-day interval between bombings demonstrated production capabilities that made American atomic superiority permanent and overwhelming. German intercepted communications from Japanese sources described destruction beyond conventional comprehension. Temperatures at ground zero reached 7,000 degrees Fahrenheit, vaporizing human beings and melting steel structures. The radioactive fallout created contamination zones that remained lethal for weeks after the initial explosion. For German scientists, the Nagasaki bombing represented the final confirmation of their complete failure. While they had spent 3 years debating theoretical possibilities, America had developed, tested, and deployed multiple atomic weapons in combat operations that ended the Pacific War within days of their first use. The psychological devastation among German scientists proved as complete as the physical destruction in Japan. Dr. Volkmann's team, who had considered themselves inheritors of Einstein and Planck's legacy, now faced the reality that German atomic research had become irrelevant months before Germany's surrender. The intercepted American communications revealed that while German physicists had been theoretical, Americans had been decisively practical. Professor Heisenberg's reputation, built on decades of groundbreaking theoretical work, crumbled under the weight of his miscalculations. His assurances to Nazi leadership that atomic weapons remained impossible had been proven catastrophically wrong within months of Germany's defeat. Post-war interrogations by Allied intelligence officers revealed that Heisenberg had fundamentally misunderstood the engineering challenges involved in weapons development. The Farm Hall transcripts, recorded secretly by British intelligence after Germany's surrender, captured German scientists' real-time reactions to Hiroshima. When BBC broadcasts announced the atomic bombing, the 10 German physicists held at the English countryside estate initially dismissed the reports as Allied propaganda. Their disbelief transformed into shocked recognition as additional details confirmed American atomic success. Dr. Otto Hahn, whose 1938 discovery of nuclear fission had initiated the atomic age, suffered a complete nervous breakdown upon learning that his scientific breakthrough had enabled mass destruction. The man whose research had unlocked atomic energy felt personal responsibility for weapons that killed hundreds of thousands of Japanese civilians. His colleagues at Farm Hall feared for his mental stability during the days following Hiroshima. The German scientific community's post-war analysis revealed systematic failures that extended beyond individual miscalculations. The Reich's bureaucratic competition had prevented crucial collaboration, while resource limitations had made large-scale experimentation impossible. Most critically, the expulsion of Jewish physicists had transferred Germany's atomic advantage directly to American laboratories. International scientific opinion shifted dramatically against German researchers who had served the Nazi regime. The Allied scientific community, which had previously respected German theoretical contributions, now viewed German atomic research as both incompetent and morally compromised. German physicists found themselves excluded from post-war international conferences and collaborative research projects. The strategic implications of German atomic failure became apparent as the Cold War emerged. The United States possessed atomic monopoly that would dominate international relations for decades. German scientists realized their theoretical discussions had been occurring while America built weapons that would reshape global power structures permanently. Soviet atomic research, accelerated by captured German scientists and American secrets obtained through espionage, achieved successful weapons tests by 1949. The atomic age that German research had initiated would be dominated by superpowers who had learned from German mistakes while avoiding German limitations. Dr. Volkmann's personal correspondence, released decades later, revealed the profound regret experienced by German atomic researchers. They had possessed theoretical knowledge that could have changed history, but bureaucratic failures and resource limitations had prevented practical application. The knowledge that atomic weapons were possible had been insufficient without industrial commitment to make them real. The German atomic program's failure influenced post-war scientific policy in ways that German researchers never anticipated. The American success demonstrated that large-scale government investment in scientific research could achieve seemingly impossible goals. This lesson would drive space programs, computer development, and medical research for generations. Contemporary analysis of German atomic research reveals that theoretical brilliance without practical implementation remains academically interesting but strategically worthless. The German scientist who had unlocked atomic secrets discovered that knowledge without application equals irrelevance in warfare's ultimate test. The atomic bombs that ended World War II had been built using German scientific discoveries by German refugee scientists working with American industrial capacity. This ironic reality haunted surviving German physicists for the remainder of their careers, knowing they had initiated research that enemies had completed more successfully. The final irony of German atomic research emerged in the decades following World War II. The very scientists who had been dismissed as theoretically brilliant but practically useless became foundational figures in peaceful atomic energy development. Dr. Volkmann, Dr. Heisenberg, and their colleagues channeled their expertise into reactor design and nuclear power generation, finally achieving practical applications of atomic research under international supervision. The Farm-Hall transcripts, declassified in 1992, revealed conversations that fundamentally changed historical understanding of German atomic capabilities. These secretly recorded discussions prove that German scientists had genuinely believed atomic weapons impossible during wartime, rather than deliberately sabotaging Nazi war efforts as some post-war accounts suggested. Their failure had been intellectual, not moral resistance. Modern analysis of the German atomic program reveals lessons that extend far beyond World War II history. The Reich's fundamental mistake, treating atomic research as a competitive academic exercise rather than collaborative industrial project, mirrors failures in contemporary technology development. Theoretical knowledge without practical implementation remains academically interesting but strategically irrelevant. The brain drain that crippled German atomic research established patterns that continue influencing international scientific competition. Nations that suppress intellectual freedom lose innovative capacity to countries that welcome diverse perspectives. The Jewish physicists expelled from Germany between 1933 and 1939 didn't simply leave. They transferred German atomic advantages directly to American laboratories. Dr. Volkmann's memoirs, published in 1963, acknowledged that German atomic research had been doomed by philosophical misunderstanding of modern warfare's industrial nature. While German scientists approached atomic weapons as theoretical physics problems requiring elegant solutions, Americans had treated bomb development as engineering challenges requiring practical solutions backed by unlimited resources. The Manhattan Project's success established the template for big science that would dominate the remainder of the 20th century. Large-scale government investment in scientific research, coordinated through military-industrial partnerships, achieved seemingly impossible goals from atomic weapons to space exploration to computer development. German atomic research had remained small-scale and academically focused, while history moved toward industrial scientific solutions. Contemporary nuclear proliferation reflects lessons learned from German atomic failure. Nations seeking nuclear weapons now understand that theoretical knowledge alone provides insufficient foundation for weapons development. Successful nuclear programs require sustained industrial commitment, international scientific collaboration, and decades of systematic development, exactly what Germany had lacked between 1939 and 1945. The psychological burden carried by surviving German atomic scientists influenced their post-war advocacy for nuclear arms control. Having witnessed American atomic success achieved through German scientific discoveries, they became powerful voices warning against nuclear weapons proliferation. Their unique perspective, scientists who had initiated atomic research but failed to complete it, provided moral authority for peace movements. Educational institutions worldwide now study the German atomic program as a case study in scientific management and international competition. Business schools analyze the bureaucratic failures that prevented German coordination, while policy schools examine how brain drain undermined German scientific advantages. The lessons extend far beyond nuclear physics into contemporary technology competition. The 8 intercepted American communications that revealed German atomic failure to Dr. Volkmann in September 1944 had predicted not just American atomic success, but the broader transformation of scientific research from individual brilliance to collaborative industrial effort. German scientists discovered too late that in modern technological warfare, organizational capacity matters more than individual genius. Today, the former Kaiser Wilhelm Institute operates as the Max Planck Institute, conducting peaceful scientific research under international cooperation principles that German atomic research had lacked. The building where Dr. Volkmann first learned of American atomic success now houses laboratories where German and international scientists collaborate on projects that benefit humanity rather than destroy it.